I didn't get this photo out of a local paper, but it reminds me very much of a picture that was in either the Gaston Gazette or the Charlotte Observer recently of a long line of people, highly qualified people, many with college degrees, waiting to apply for jobs. Because the employment market is so competitive right now, wouldn't you want every advantage you could get? There are many things you can do that make you stand out from among the others who will apply and be interviewed. Other people will talk about some of them: a beautiful, informative resume, a professional looking and compelling cover letter, and a correctly completed application. But I am going to talk about a powerful marketing tool that you can post online and take with you to the interview that sets you apart from other applicants. A professional portfolio is a collection of documents that tells a story about you. It shows who you are, and it offers proof that you are the person the employer is looking for to do the job that he or she is seeking to fill. One of my former students called me once after a successful interview for a job that she really wanted. She said that they told her that she stood out to them because of two things she did. One of those two things was to bring a professional portfolio with her to the interview. The other was to follow up after the interview with a letter reiterating her interest in the position and thanking her interviewer for the meeting. Having a professional portfolio with you makes you stand out. The very fact that you have taken the time to gather a collection of documents that shows who you are and what you can do makes you stand out as someone who is more than casually interested in the position for which you are applying. It makes you look proactive and organized, and it makes you more memorable than other interviewees who arrive without that kind of preparation. I tell my students that going to a job interview is a bit like going to court for a prosecuting attorney. If you are the prosecutor, you can't just say to the jury, "Ladies and gentlemen, I know that the defendant is guilty. Take my word for it." Police officers and prosecutors spend a tremendous amount of time in an important criminal case gathering evidence to support their contention that the defendant in the case is guilty of the crime. Your job in an interview is to convince the interviewer that you are likable, reliable, and competent, and that you have the job-specific and transferable skills needed to do the job. You wouldn't go to court without evidence, and you shouldn't go into a job interview without it either. What you put in your portfolio depends upon your strengths, what your strengths and skills are. It also depends on what sort of job you're interviewing for. But a few things are usual. You want to include a resume tailored to the job and company for which you are applying. Your resume should always reflect the company and the position description. You might also include a copy of the cover letter that you sent when you submitted your application. Be sure it's a cover letter addressed to that company, not just any cover letter. People who are good students will want to include a copy of their academic transcript. You can download and print a copy of your Gaston College transcript in WebAdvisor, but I always advise people to get a copy from the registrar's office. It looks more professional, and it has your honors on it: Dean's List, President's List, and Honor Roll. You might want to skip the transcript if your grades are borderline. If your early grades were mediocre, but your more recent grades are good, you need to plan to talk about how you turn things around for yourself after a shaky start. You should also plan to include letters of reference from instructors, past employers, and people who have served with you in volunteer organizations. If you plan to post your portfolio online, you will need your references' permission to post a letter of reference. These letters should talk about your job-specific and transferable skills, your character, your work ethic, and your likability. If you have earned degrees, certificates, licenses, or diplomas, you should make copies of them and include them in your professional portfolio. If you're posting your portfolio online, you can scan these documents. If you have ever received an award of any kind, perfect attendance, employee of the month, outstanding student, and so on, put a copy of the award in your portfolio. If you have a letter inviting you to participate in an honor society or a program showing that you are a graduation marshal, copy it and include it. If you participated in a college or church group that did something for the community, consider including it if it shows off job-specific or transferable skills. If you have positive job reviews or letters of commendation from employers, college officials, or community leaders, copy those and include them if they show job-specific or transferable skills. Remember that volunteer work can show leadership skills, people skills, communication skills, responsibility, and dedication. Employers value these skills and traits. Include proof of participation if they could be seen as relevant. These are especially important if you do not have much in the way of paid employment. Samples of your work. These items are very important. The employer is hiring you because you have a particular set of skills. Here is your chance to display those skills. If the job description mentions Microsoft Word and Excel proficiency, have copies of Word documents and Excel spreadsheets in your portfolio. If samples of your work are not static documents, if they are spreadsheets with formulas, databases with queries, forms, and reports, or computer programs, consider taking a copy on a flash drive or a CD so that your interviewer can see the functionality. Some applicants take a portfolio on a CD that she or he can leave with the interviewer. Do a trial run of all these items to make sure that they work correctly and have all the necessary ancillary files, graphics or computer or data files. If your field is something 3D, consider a copy of a video. Make sure that everything is done to a very high degree of quality. This is no place for spelling errors, formulas that don't work, or computer programs with glitches. Don't use any work product without permission. It's better to use textbook projects or projects you created using dummy data. This portfolio represents you. It should represent you well. This should be a new notebook or binder, not something used. It shouldn't be expensive to purchase a new binder. Protect your documents using plastic sleeves. You can buy sleeves that allow you to store CDs as well. Every time you go to an interview, you should go through your portfolio and edit it for that interview. Make sure the resume and cover letter match the position and company. Make sure the examples of your work match the position. The way you're going to use this notebook in the interview is to answer questions such as, are you familiar with Microsoft Excel? Or what were your responsibilities in your last position? You can show the interviewer your spreadsheets, and you can show copies of performance reviews. If you are a medical transcriptionist, what should you include? Without any of these items, the interviewer can only take your word for it that you are skilled at medical transcription. Employers want to hire you. They are looking for qualified personnel. You just need to give them proof that you are the person with these skills. Remember that it's like a prosecutor going to court. You need to offer proof.